That tune is so catchy, isn't it? I totally dig it. Oh my gosh. Hello and welcome to Mondays with Marc. I am Marc and we are on Smokey Steve and Marc. How you doing? Oh, it's so nice to see you. What's been going on? I hope your week is off to a fantastic start. I really, really do. Mine was absolutely crazy, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. We're going to do something a little different today. Well, we're going to try something a little different today. We're going to have some real talk, and I decided to do some more real talk because I got quite a few comments on the last real talk that I did, and they were all really, really good and really nice. And one of the ones that stood out to me, actually, it was with three comments said that they liked when I and we do the real talks because it helps, it like lets you get to know us a little bit better in a little more intimate way or in a different way. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that. That is so true. Most of the time we try to, I don't know, just do some chit chat, or we're doing a project, or we have like a segment we're doing or something like that, but we never really talk about ourselves real personal like that too, you know. So I really liked that. I'm glad that was mentioned, you know. And another thing about, you know, relating, I that is something that, you know, that's something you can't buy, you know. For example, one lady had wrote to me and said, I'm so glad that you shared your story, or like what we were talking about in the last Real Talk video, which I think was about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, because she was experiencing the same things that I was experiencing, and she said that it didn't make her feel crazy anymore. She felt no one would understand if she talked to them or whatever. So I was so ecstatic to hear that, because one of the things we definitely try to do is to connect with our viewers and our friends in some way. That's one of the ways that you really do connect. So anyway, so I thought we would pick up with some real talk, and at the same time I thought we would make something too. So we'll do real talk and a project together. So one of my favorite things to do is really like to do a project that I can do like while I'm watching a movie or chit-chatting with friends or something, you know, like Steven's mom does crocheting and like knitting or crocheting, you know, with the long things, you know, and that's a perfect thing to do while you're watching TV or having coffee with a friend or something like that. And this project is, you know, along those lines. You can do it while you're doing something else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the project set up so that we can just work on it and talk, just you and I. I love Mondays with Marc. I know I said this before, because we get to share this little bit of time together, spend a little QT together. Just you and I. So today we're going to do it over a project, and it's behind me right here. We're going to make a rose picture. I think these are really cool, a 3D rose picture, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. And I picked roses because, you know, there's a reason behind it. And we are in June now, and June traditionally for me has always been a busy month and a festive month. My mother's birthday is on June 2nd. My grandmother's birthday is today, and my other grandmother's birthday is June the 9th. So it was always like a happy and festive time. They were three of the most important people in the world to me. And they are no longer with me anymore, and sometimes I find myself being a little depressed this time of the year now, you know. Now, I do try to cherish their memory and remember all the good times and everything, but, you know, sometimes it's a little sad when someone you love is no longer in your life, you know. And it kind of set into motion some other things, too. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, oh, and the reason why I picked a rose, too, because, you know, June, one of the birth flowers, probably the most popular birth flower of June, is the rose. So if any of you have birthdays in June, Happy birthday to you, by the way. Okay, so let's get our project set up, and then we'll chit-chat for a little bit, okay? So for this project, you will need a frame. Now, I got everything I'm using today, I got at the dollar store. It cost me $4 to make this project. So we're going to make an 8x10 size one today, but I'll tell you what, I think this project would look striking huge, like a 24x36 inch one. Of course, it would be a little more expensive and you would need a few more materials, but oh man, I think it would look so good. As well as I think it would look great as a wedding favor using a smaller one with mini roses. I think that would look nice too. But for today, we're going to do an 8x10. In addition to that, you'll need a piece of foam core, and that will be cut to size to fit into your frame. In addition to that, we will need some artificial roses. Now, I purchased these at the dollar store, but you know, you can get artificial roses anywhere, or if you're really ambitious, you could make your own paper roses. But that could be a whole other video, okay, because it takes a little more patience to make those. Not much, they're easy to make, but you could make your own if you want. So, in addition to that, you'll need some tacky glue, you'll need some Scotch tape, you will need a pen, and a ruler. And that's it. So to get this all set up, first thing you're going to do is open up your frame. Okay. And we are going to take out and either discard or set your glass aside to use it for, you know, another project. So we're going to get rid of our glass, okay? Set that over there like way far away so I don't slice my fingers off. Now we're going to take the foam core, which we have cut to fit inside of our frame, and we're going to put it in, okay, like so, and we're going to close it all back up. We'll put our back on it. If you want it to, you know, freestand, go ahead and put the back on, or you can do your own backing too, whatever you want to do. We're just going to put it all back together here. I'm trying to do this so fast. Okay, there we go. I've been trying, as you know, to try to, like, you know, not talk so much in videos, to try to make them a little bit shorter. I can't imagine what it's like to sit there and listen to me yap for a half hour, but I don't know. I'm getting a little better at it. Okay, so we have it all put back together, okay? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our roses, and you're going to choose the colors you want when you buy them. I'm going for like an ombre effect, so I'm going to start with red, go to like a dark pink, light pink, cream, and then white. That would be an ombre effect. The one back here is similar to that, but I mixed it up just a little bit. But I'll show you those later. You're going to take your roses and you're going to separate them from the stems, and they just pull right off. And you want to keep the calyx, you know, the little leaves on the bottom there, so you have a little, this little thing here. As you can guess, we're going to kind of stick that into the foam. So you're going to want to remove all the roses that you're going to use for your picture. Now, for this one, since I got some pretty large roses this time, I'm going to do 4x4, all right? So I'll do four roses across and 4 roses down. Now, depending on how large your frame is, of course, you will need more roses if you're going to do a larger one. So the easiest way I found, we're going to map this out on here first because it'll make it easier for you, okay? I don't know if you can see that, but I have already marked where I'm going to put my roses. Now, to do that, the easiest way to make them all centered, and they don't have to be perfect, as you will see, all I did was I measured the center of it like that. I put a line, and then since we're going to be doing 4 across, I have to make 3 lines going down, so you have 4 spaces. So essentially I just made a graph, as you can see. Yeah, you can see it. Good. Okay, and then in the center of all those open spaces, I put a dot, just like that. And then you take your pen and you kind of poke a hole in there, okay? The next step, and then we're going to have some real talk, is you're going to take some glue. You know, I prefer tacky glue. I think it's the best glue out there, personally. And we're going to fill each one of these holes with some glue, and be generous. you know? Now you can do this as you go along, putting your roses in, or you can do them all right at the beginning. Since we're going to be talking, and I'm going to be doing this while we're talking, I'm going to fill them all in right now. Tacky glue won't dry that fast, so we'll be fine. And like I said, be generous. You want them to stick, and they will stick. And if it gets messy, tacky glue dries clear. Now, a quick note about the foam core. I chose black. I think that's kind of the best choice for this project, but white would work. Literally, probably any color will work depending on the colors of your flowers. Okay, there we go. All right, so we are all set up to go. So I'll just show you how to do the first rows, and then we'll chit-chat a bit, okay? So I'm going to do an ombre effect. So I'm going to start, we'll say this is the top. I'm going to do red, I'm going to do a dark pink, a light pink, and a white to kind of give that ombre effect to it. It's just so simple. Now that you have this ready to go, all you do is take that little pointy, end of the rose there, and we're just going to stick it in the hole that we made. Now this is going to be impossible to show you like this. I have to set it down. I guess I should have got my craft table out, but then it would have been in the way. So we're just going to kind of push it in there, and it'll stick up a little bit, okay, like that. And when that dries, it'll be solid and you won't have to worry about that. And we're just going to repeat with all of the holes that you made and filled with glue, okay? So I'm going to do that while we're kind of talking here. So I told you that, roses were kind of significant for me, and I told you that June in itself was kind of significant for me, and I told you why, and I told you how it made me feel. So, like I said, I always try to find a solution, when I'm feeling down about not having my mom or my grandparents or the important people who I really loved in my life around me anymore. It's okay to feel down. It's okay to feel sad about it. It absolutely is. Where I get caught up is when it turns into depression. And it very, very easily can turn into depression for me. As you know, I've been struggling with some physical issues recently. And some mental issues as well. And the depression is one of them. Depression and anxiety are one of them. And things like that can make it worse when I start thinking about things like that. So what I've done with dealing with grief and loss, and I mean, my grandmother, she's been dead well over 10 years now. And this time of the year, sometimes around the holidays too, it feels like it just happened yesterday. Those are normal, natural feelings. And like I said, it's okay to feel grief and feel sad. Allow yourself to feel that for a little bit. But just be careful not to let it slip into depression. Depression is a lot harder to deal with once it really sets in. So what I do is I try to remember the good times. I try to honor their memories. And I'm a firm believer that we will all meet again someday, Our lives are just a little pinprick on the big, timeline of our existence, And I believe that the people we love, we will see again once they're gone. I do. And that does give me some sort of solace, helps a little bit, But another thing that I was thinking about when thinking about all of this stuff was that over the weekend, it was June the 6th, and that marks exactly 3 months to my birthday. My birthday's on September 6th, and it's the biggie. I'll be 21, and just kidding. No, it's the biggie. It's the big 5-0. And I think that it's probably, okay. I wanted to show you this. Let me finish this last one here. All right, so first row is finished. And I think it's natural and normal for people to, I don't know, as they age and as you get a little bit older, you start to think about things in your life. Am I happy where I'm at right now? what have I done in my life that I can be proud of? Have I made any impact on this world at all? Have I touched anybody's life at all? For me, you know, it's very easy for me. The very first answer is no, absolutely not. And that's kind of why I mentioned depression before, because, you know, I'm dealing with a little bit of that over the past few months, and it's kind of hard to deal with. And you all know I did a video a while back about age shaming, so I already had kind of an issue with aging and getting older. And, you know, we tend to live in a society where as you get, it's almost a negative thing to get older. You know, you're not looked at the same way as you are looked at when you're younger. And I think this is especially true for women in general. You know, oh, you gotta use your creams, look younger, look da, 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 da. And that stuff is all okay if you're doing it for yourself, you know. But I think we're in a period of change. You know, I totally do not agree with that at all. And I think we are in a period of change. I don't think that's as relevant today as it once was, but it still exists. And it still exists for me. I've come to terms with it, and I've gotten a lot better with the whole age shaming thing. I do not feel that it's something to be embarrassed of now. You know, especially, you know, I look 21, right? Just say right, okay? Having a rough day. I'm kidding. But anyway, no, I don't buy into that anymore, and I try not to let that bother me. However, when thinking about my 50th birthday coming up, I started thinking of all those questions. I started thinking, am I happy where I'm at in my life? The answer to that is absolutely yes. I'm very happy in my relationship and my life with Steven and Bandit and my family. Professionally, I made a change a very short time ago, and I'm happy with that too. I'm excited to see where that's going to go. It was a hard one to change. You know, I had worked in the restaurant field my entire life, and it was scary and hard, but you know what? It was positive, and it was a good thing. I start thinking, you know, what impact have I made on this world? Have I touched anybody's life, you know? And outside of dissecting every single year that I've been on this earth, you know, I'm hoping that I did. I'm hoping that I touched at least some person. I hope I made some type of impact in the world in the 50 years that I've been here. Did I? I don't know, you know, but this is all leading to, you know, the feelings of depression, because I can allow that answer to be no, I haven't done anything. And then I can allow that to ruminate in my mind and become and sit in it and be depressed and, you know, and all those things. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. Well, you know, some days are better than others, right? So I had to figure out, like I said, I try to find a solution to things. And so here's the answer to all of this. You know, when I think about grief and loss, when I think about my life and where it's at now, I have a disease that is progressive, and my life is changing very rapidly, and I cannot do the things that I once did. I had to accept those things. And it's a daily thing that reminds me. I just have to look at my hands and I see my knuckles. You know, when I talked about changing professions, I had to leave the pastry business because I could not physically do the work that I used to do. It's a hard thing to accept, and that also can lead to depression too. I think about, all of a sudden I'm catastrophizing. I'm thinking of the future. I'm thinking that I'm not going to be able to make it up the steps. I'm not going to be able to do this. Someone's going to have to take care of me. That's not fair on them. What's the quality of my life going to be? You know, I tend to jump ahead many, many years like I'm living it right now, and that can sit and that can get worse and worse and worse. Saturday, I had a rough day. My knee was swollen, okay, and my ankle, my right leg, basically. And I've had swelling before in the past, but nothing like this, and it was very difficult to get up the steps. I was working in the garden, trying to work in the garden, and it was hard to get up the steps. And it was another one of those reality moments. And it was another one of those moments where it was very easy for that depression to set in, right? So anyway, again, I'm rambling on. So what I want to do, I wanted to focus more on, you know, a solution or what I can do. So, you know, sometimes this is easier said than done. Okay, we have 3 rows done. So show you where we're at, you know. I try to be positive in my everyday life, and when I'm dealing with depression and things like this, I try to find solutions. And like I said, it's easier said than done. One of the things I do is I try to ascertain what is it that I can do, what is it that I can't do, what things can I attempt to change, what things can I, not change. And when those things that I can't change, I have to work on acceptance. The things that I can change, I have to put a plan of action, to make changes in my life. And I had found myself over the last few weeks sitting in it, and my mood being down and da-da-da-da-da. And so in taking a look at the things that I can change in my life, I can sit here and be very, very upset of how I look. I've gained so much weight. I feel disgusting, self-confidence, self-worth, all those things down the drain. Very hard to get out from that too, right? So, some of the things that I can do to change is I can take an active, involvement in my treatment for the things that are keeping me from doing what I once did, instead of sitting here and being, kind of pathetic and all full of self-pity, right? So I wanted to embark on a type of, I guess, journey of self-improvement. I had said this before, and I never followed through with it. So I made some calls, I did some research, and I decided to do this publicly with you guys, maybe document it every so often. And it was suggested to me by doctors, why don't you try an antidepressant? Medication is a tool. It is. And I was so against it, right? I was a drug addict for probably 12 years. And and now it's like, oh, I hesitate even putting an aspirin in my mouth now, right? So when they suggested, why don't you try an antidepressant, I was like, oh no, absolutely not. I'm not going to do that. Da 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 da. Right away, not thinking about it, not, even thinking I would even give it a try, right? So one of the things I decided to do was to try it. So my doctor prescribed for me it's a pretty mild antidepressant to start with, right? So I'm going to use that as one of my tools, and I'm going to give it a try, and I'm going to start it this week. I did some research, and Steven's mom sent over some exercises that I can do, and these are specifically for my hands to strengthen them and things like that. Then I went ahead and contacted my doctor, and he sent me over some other exercises that I can do for my legs, my knee, my ankles, things like that. That's taking an active approach to this, something that I might be able to change, might be able to make my life a little bit better. But in the process of trying these things, actually in the process of making the decision to try these things, that's a positive thing. That's a positive step. And it kind of boosted me up a little bit. So I was very happy about that. I was hesitant to try all these things, and then when I did, it kind of felt like it was right, because I'm doing something, Let's see. In addition to that, here on a funny note, in addition to that, I'm listening to what you guys all told me about the tomatoes. Yes, I'm on this weird addictive kick for tomato soup and salsa, and I eat it every single day, and it is, I asked my doctor and I did some research, it is not beneficial for any type of like rheumatologic disease, right? Especially RA. So I've decided to get that under control too. There is no reason I need to eat that every single day. So that was one of the things. And as silly as that might sound, it was a big step for me, because I'm a very habit-oriented person, And Steve will tell you, switching up my routine is like, oh my gosh, it's like, it's traumatic, And even changing what soup I eat. I know. I hope some people can relate to me on this because sometimes I do feel crazy. Another one of the things that I decided to do to try to help my situation was to do this video and to talk about it and discuss it, right? When I have found, I've learned over the years that when I keep something to myself, be it a secret, be it something that I'm thinking about that might plant a seed and kind of get a little bit bigger in there, you know, if I keep it to myself, that's not a positive thing, and it tends to get bigger and get worse. So that was another thing that I decided to do to try to help myself. And furthermore, it holds me a little bit accountable. If left to my own devices, it's very easy for me to say, oh, screw it. You know, I'm not going to do this today, right? The efforts are one of the most evil things in the world because I can say, oh, I look so terrible. Instead of doing anything about it, I'll be like, you know what, F it, I'm going to have another cupcake. Ooh, what does that accomplish? It's about instant gratification, right? Now, so far, and I'm very grateful for this all hasn't turned over to my previous drug addiction because that's where I used to go every day. If for anything, anytime something was wrong, it was drugs. You know, the drugs were the answer to everything. And that's not where I'm at today. And that's one thing that I'm very grateful for. And that brings me to gratitude, making a small gratitude list every day. And when I say my prayers every day on my way to work, gratitude is way up top there because I'm very, very grateful for my life. And I was told a very long time ago, I don't remember who told me this, it was probably my sponsor at one time or something like that a grateful addict will not relapse. Now, I don't know how much of that is true or not, but being grateful, having a gratitude list, showing my gratitude helps a lot. It really does. And I remember when people would say to me, make a gratitude list today, I'd be like, oh, geez, that's so stupid, you know. It works. It really, really does. So anyway, what I'm getting at is that, okay, all 4 rows, I can't really turn it because they'll fall off. Well, here, let it sit there for 1 second. I have one more to put on anyway. So anyway, what I'm saying is that I'm taking action. I'm taking small steps to, better my life. Physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I'm taking an active effort to try to change these things. And in that action has helped me already. I don't know if that makes sense or not, and I'm hoping that I'm conveying what I'm trying to say. All I know is that I have been in a pretty, I wouldn't say dark place, but I've been in a low place for the last few weeks, probably to about a month. And I finally, got up the gumption to try to do something about it. When we do our videos with you, you only see a little snippet of our day, and I always try to be like upbeat and happy and da-da-da-da-da, but that's not always the case. I'm human. I have bad days, and I've been having a lot of bad days recently, and that's the reason why. I have gotten the efforts. I have allowed myself to reach a point where how can I put it? Where, all right, well, it is what it is, just let it be. Well, no, there are things we can do. When we are up, like when we think there's nothing we can do, there is something we can do. We just have to find out what that is. And that takes a little bit of searching, and so, I think I'm off to a good start. And like I said, I'm planning on making this public, and I'm planning on filling you in. Maybe we'll just do a little check-in once a week or something, right? And perhaps I can share with you the things that I am doing to try to better my life in those areas. And if it, relates to somebody out there, then that's even better, and that helps me too, because your comments and your suggestions, that kind of connection, you can't buy that either. You know what I mean? And that really, really helps too. I don't want to speak for Steven. I'll just speak for myself. I'm pretty, I don't have a lot of people surrounding me at all times. My basic social interaction are my coworkers. And you know, I think that we need to get things out of here, you know, and that's done by talking, by communicating. And that's what I'm trying to do today, and that's what I'm going to try to continue to do as this goes on. This was pretty raw. I didn't rehearse this or anything, and I'm trying to think back if I, you know, was understandable or if I kind of got my point across, if there was any point. But that's where I'm at today. Okay, last one going in. Last one going in. There we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let me show you this, and then we'll close up a little bit here. Now the glue hasn't set yet, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you. No, it hasn't set yet. I gotta put him back in. Well, anyway, maybe you can see a little bit of it without me turning it. I can't. Well, anyway. All right. Well, anyway, anyway, what am I doing here? Look, I'll just show you this. Okay. Anyway, the end result will be this. You will have a very, very cute 3D rose picture that you can hang on the wall. And then, of course, if you have the back, you know, like this, you can just set it up on a mantle. And it was very inexpensive and very, very easy to do. And a couple little tips here. You can customize it to the way you like. You know what I really think would look nice too? Would be like these like daisies or these are sunflowers. Sunflowers would look nice. I have some daisies here. Could you imagine? I think this would look like pop art if you did like orange, blue, red, yellow. Daisies would be cool. You could also brush glue over the top of the petals like this, sprinkle it with some glitter and get a little shine to it. There's an idea for you. You could also weave a fairy lights in there and have a light up picture too. So that was our project for today. I hope you liked it. You know, I kind of liked doing some talking with a project going on at the same time. I kind of like that. I hope I didn't bore you to tears with talking. That's why I tried to have a project going on there at the same time. But anyway, let's wrap this all up. So anyway, where did I end? Now we got onto something else. I don't even know where I'm at. We're probably at what, like, we're probably about an hour now. Anyway, so I just wanted to share with you where I was at in life. I wanted to share with you where I was with my health. My health has been up and down recently. I had a bad Saturday with some flare-ups, but other than that, it's been okay. It's been dealable, but I know that there are things that I can do to make it better. At least take that active approach to what's going on in my life, in all the areas of my life. And I'm going to accomplish those things by doing what I told you. I opened my mind a little to try something different with the medication. I'm trying some exercises to try to strengthen myself up. Within the next 3 months, I'll be able to physically see my doctor and my treatment team now that we're moving out of the red zone and all that with the pandemic. So that'll be really great to touch base with them again and get back to what it is we need to do. Do I need a med change? Do I need to do something different? You know, as you all know, I'm back on the prednisone, and I blamed my weight gain solely on the prednisone. Again, excuses, justifying, you know, I had to call myself out on all this stuff. You know, I mean, do I really believe that every single person on prednisone in the entire world has never lost weight? I mean, come on. It's the additional food I'm eating. It's the lack of exercise. So exercise is going to be an important one. And acceptance. For example, exercise, I can't run. I used to love to run. Well, jog. I used to jog. I physically can't do that now. So does that mean I can't exercise at all? No. But in my mind, that's the way it felt. So, so that will be in the picture too, you know. I mean, at least definitely stretching and maybe some light free weights, things like that. Anyway, getting more active will help with all that. And like I said, just taking an active approach to try to better my life gives me a sense of accomplishment and a sense of, hey, you know, I'm trying. I'm doing something. You know, I'm not just letting everything affect me and taking it in and wallowing in self-pity, right? So anyway, I hope you enjoyed our project that we made today. I'll try to release that as a separate standalone video. I'm not sure if I can do that, but I'll definitely post it on Facebook with the instructions if you want to make one yourself. If you do, send me a picture. You know how much I dig those. And thank you so much for listening to me too. It's my hope that I made sense. It's my hope that someone can relate to it. And it's my extreme hope that something that I said might help somebody. I don't know. We'll see, right? So anyway, why don't we wrap it up for the evening. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. It was fantastic spending time with you, as always, for real. Listen, please check us out on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Send us a friend request. We are also on Instagram, SmokeySteveAndMarc. All of our contact information, our email, our address, everything is listed below if you want to contact us. And I guess most importantly, remember everybody, stay safe, stay well, and above all else, stay positive, everybody. I'm going to do my best. Do yours, okay? I'll see you next time, all right? Ciao!